Welcome to Simply Stylish DIY, where we take ordinary to extraordinary.
Welcome back to Simply Stylish DIY. Today we will be making beautiful DIYs using these Dollar Tree beaded wreath rings. We will be crafting 3 unique DIYs I think you're going to love. I can't wait to show you today's creations. Without further ado, let's get to crafting.
DIY number 1, Purple Hello Bead Ring Sign. Okay, for this first DIY, you'll need one of the Dollar Tree bead rings. You'll also need some extra large popsicle sticks, 13 paint stir sticks from any home improvement store, a wood word of your choice, some florals, and paints of your choice. I picked these paint sticks up at Lowe's. They are a 10 in a pack. We're going to use 13. We're going to take these and we're going to turn them opposite ways, but you need to be sure that when you are putting this together that you have the numbers face side up because we're going to do the back first. So we're going to turn the numbers up, look at those, and then there's an indentation in the top where you hold it. You're going to turn those opposite with each one. Lay them side by side. Once you get all 13 laid out, I'm going to take 2 of my large popsicle sticks and just press them in here, kind of like if you were using a square, just to make sure that they are lined up and pushed together so they touch. Next, we're going to take these extra large popsicle sticks and we're going to use these to put the sign together. Where you have the little holes there on the edges, make sure you don't put your popsicle stick over that because the glue will just mash up through that. Make sure you put them on the sides of those and position those so you're going to have coverage. And also we're going to do something else to it, so you need some room on the edge. So just put those with hot glue and make sure you have each of the stir sticks included in that. I ended up using 6 of the extra large popsicle sticks, putting the hot glue on those and pressing them into the stir sticks. Now we're going to flip it over and this is what your sign is going to look like. Now we're going to paint it. Okay, to make our faux stain, we're going to take some water-based paint. I'm using melted chocolate. Then we're going to take some clean water and add to that. We're going to take a foam brush, mix that in really good to create your stain. After you get it combined, we're going to take the sponge brush and paint all the front of our sign that we made. And I'm showing you here that you can see the wood grain in it. And it looks like it's been stained without having to go through all the effort of actually staining it. I think this turns out really pretty each time. Make sure you get good coverage on the front. Make sure you also get down the little holes that we made with our paint sticks and also paint the sides. Here I'm just going to take a dry paper towel, or you can take a rag and just dry it off and make sure that you have all your stain covered on the front of your sign. Okay, I picked this twine up from Dollar Tree. It comes 3 in a pack. We're going to take it and we're going to wrap it around the edges of our board, but we don't want to cover that pretty hole design that we put there on the side. So we're going to take a little bit of hot glue, flip it over, put your string, your twine in that. I just take the back of my scissors here and mesh it in so it has good adhesion. And then we're going to take that, turn your board over, and just start wrapping it. You can overlap it if you want to. I tried to keep it straight side by side, and then I'm going to go on top of it a few times and just get it to the look you want. After you get it wrapped as many times as you think looks good, we're going to take it around to the back, hot glue it down there, and once it's adhered, go ahead and push it down with your scissors or your fingers and make sure that you have it clipped off. Then I'm just going to take some hot glue and run over all those strings together because I want to make sure that if they do come loose, they don't all come unwrapped at the same time. So once that gets a little bit tacky, hold them down here, put it on the other end also, and take your scissors and you can just take those and run over all the strings and it just holds them together tight. Do the same thing for both ends. And then It's so simple. Just take your fingers and wipe that glue off the edge, and it just comes right off your scissors. We're going to repeat the process for the other side. Just make sure you don't cover those pretty little hole designs. Next, I'm just going to take my scissors here, and I'm just going to clip off the little excess strings that the jute can have sometimes, just so it don't look like little hair sticking up all over everything. I picked up this Hello wood sign at Joann. I got several of them when they were on clearance in different sayings. I'm going to use it, and we're going to put it on our sign in just a minute, but first we're going to paint it. I'm going to take this chalk paint in ivory and take a small brush, and we're just going to cover the word hello. You can't really tell a whole lot of difference, but we are going to distress it too. So if you don't want to paint your words, that's fine. You can just do them any color you choose. Once my little hello sign is painted and dry, I'm going to take this distress oxide just to give it some antique look around the edges and just some distressed weathering marks. And just take a coarse bristle brush and tap into your stamp pad and dab it onto your letters. Next, we're going to take this bead ring from Dollar Tree. I'm going to clip off the little tag here, and then we're going to see where we're going to position it on our sign. I want to leave some space at the top because we're going to do something special up there. So now I'm going to turn it over. Make sure that you have that little silver part there at the top because we're going to cover that up. And we're going to put some hot glue around those beads. Make sure you work kind of quickly because it dries fast and you want it to be sticky when you flip it over. Sometimes the beads turn. Just make sure before you press it down that your bead hadn't flipped, and you can turn it back over with the glue on it so you don't burn yourself. If you noticed at the bottom, that's exactly what mine just did. I just took my fingers and flipped it over with the glue, and therefore I'm ready to take it and hold it down onto the sign and press it until it adheres and dries. Next, we're going to take the little hello sign, turn it over on the back, put some hot glue on the letters, and then we're going to flip it over and kind of stick it catty-cornered in the center. Next, I chose this lamb's ear. I think I picked this up at Joann too when it was on clearance. I'm going to take some of the different size leaves because I want to work with different sizes around the top. So I'm going to pull off several. I'm not sure exactly at this point how many I'm going to use. I'm going to check through it. I'm going to find the larger of the leaves and clip those apart because we're going to position them around because we're going to put a bow here at the top and also some purple lavender. I just wanted to see here how I was going to position the lamb's ear before I made my bow to kind of get an idea how big of a bow I wanted to create. Next, I'm going to take my purple ribbon and I'm going to make a small little bow to put here in the center. We're going to pull it off of the bow maker, take a pipe cleaner and twist it really tight. Go ahead and fluff up your bow, and we're going to see how big it's going to be, and then we're going to dovetail the ends. You can actually put those two tails together, fold them over, and then cut them at a diagonal. Go ahead and clip those ends off because we won't need those again. Okay, I went ahead and clipped off those lamb's ear pieces that were together, and we're going to position those around now that we have our bow made and we see how big it is. I'm going to go ahead and take some hot glue and glue those to the sign, and also these two at the bottom are going to be glued to the bead ring. Once those have had a chance to dry, we're going to take our bow, put some hot glue there in the center, and we're going to stick it in the hole where the lamb's ear will be around it. I cut off a couple sprigs of this lavender bush that I picked up at Walmart. I'm just going to use these two pieces, put some hot glue there on the little stems, and just tuck it underneath the bow on top of the lamb's ear. Next, I saw these little purple puffs on this little purple bush, and I'm going to take the smallest one that is on it and clip that off. Put some hot glue there where I snipped it, and we're also going to stick that into the center of our bow just for some dimension and some whimsy. Next, we're going to make a hanger to put on the back of our sign. I'm just going to take that same twine and cut off a piece, maybe about 10 inches, tie it into a knot, cut off those little ends, flip your sign over and find the middle. Once you have that, put some hot glue and go ahead and glue your hanger on. Okay, here's your finished product. I hope you enjoyed this DIY. It was so much fun to make. I loved how it turned out. It would be so easy to change the colors of the ribbon and the flowers and use this for many different occasions and seasons. Also, it's budget friendly from start to finish. DIY number 2, pink tulip heart bead ring. Okay, for this DIY, you'll need one of the bead rings from Dollar Tree, also one of the round wood signs. You'll also need some paint of your choice, a little roll of the burlap, florals of your choice, some distresser, which is optional, and also one of the small crates from Dollar Tree and some wood words. I'm going to be using the back side of this sign. I picked this up at Joann's, and I'm going to flip it over here and show you in just a second that it's got home on the other side on the front. So therefore, I'm going to use the back. I'm going to take this sticker off, and then we'll get started painting it. Dollar Trees are plain, so you can go ahead and just pick up one of those to do this DIY. We're going to start painting our sign now. First of all, we're going to use that faux stain that we made for the first DIY. I'm just going to add just a little bit of water to it because it got a little thick sitting there waiting for the second DIY. So I'm going to add some water to it, prop it up on something, therefore it don't just slide around, and put a good coat of that on your sign. I love how this faux stain makes the wood grain just stick out so much prettier. And now we're going to use that same stain and take that little crate from Dollar Tree and put a nice coat on it. I'm going to take what's left of my stain and just paint the inside probably 3/4 the way down because we're going to be putting flowers in it. I just want to make sure that if you look down in it, you just couldn't see bare wood. I picked up these little wood words at a craft store when they were on clearance. I got several of them. This one is going to say follow your heart, and that's going to make sense in just a minute because we're going to do something with a heart. I'm going to take the stain that's on my brush and the little bit that's left over in the plate and just give it a coat here on the front just so all the colors will blend. Next, I'm going to take some ivory chalk paint and dab a little bit in it. The lid, take it and just dry brush over that if you want, just give it some 3D effect. Next, I'm going to pour just a little bit out here on my wax paper and that same sponge brush that we used to paint the brown. I'm just going to drag it through it and just put a little bit on it and just kind of make some wispy marks on that little crate. On the ends and the sides. I wasn't sure which side I was going to be using, so I went ahead and painted both just to see which one looked the best. Next, I'm going to take this distressed oxide, dab it into it with a coarse bristle brush, and go over the follow your heart just so it can give it a little bit more 3D effect and dimension. And plus, I wanted it just a little bit darker to show up on the crate. I held it up to the crate to see if I wanted to go a little bit darker with it, which I did, and I went ahead and put some more on my brush and just dabbed it. I went ahead and took that same brush that I was using earlier and just lightened it up just a little bit more so those words will pop. Next, I'm going to take the distress oxide and go around the edges of the crate just to give it a weathered look. Okay, next we're going to take this bead ring from Dollar Tree, and the front of the little sign that we just made said follow your heart. So we're going to shape this into a heart. These are very pliable, so they're easy to bend. So we're just going to take our hands, pull that down. I ended up turning it the other way and made that the point. But you're going to take it and just work it until you get the shape that you want it to be. Next, we're going to take our hot glue like we glued our bead wreath on in the last DIY. We're going to do the same thing here. Just make sure that you work fairly quick because it does dry quick. Go ahead and put a coat of hot glue all over the beads, and then we're going to flip that over and hold it down until it dries. Okay, next I picked up my pink chunky yarn out of my stash, got a couple strings of it, and I thought it would be pretty to offset this bead ring in the center. So I'm going to take some hot glue, run it around the inside of it first. I'm doing half at a time so it does not dry and I can work kind of quick. Take your thumbs and fingers and push that against the beads and it will adhere to that hot glue. Make sure you have it pressed against it until it dries. And then you're going to just do the other side, working kind of quick so your glue don't dry too fast, and go to the point to where it meets. Once you get back to where you started from there, go ahead and clip off the little bit of excess, put some more hot glue underneath that, and make sure it's all connected. We're going to do the same thing on the outside edge of the beads. We're just going to take another string of that pink chunky yarn. Next, we're going to take some glue and glue the back strips of the crate, and then we're going to adhere that to the sign underneath the edge of that heart, making sure it don't hang off the bottom. Next, we're going to take our glue and glue that follow your heart sign to the front. I'm going to take a piece of foam from Dollar Tree, figure out which way I want to turn it and how big of a piece I'm going to need. Go ahead and snip that apart and hot glue it to the back of your box because we're going to leave a little space in the front to put something so you can't see it through those little slats. Next, we're going to take this little roll of burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree and we're going to take several inches and cut it. You're going to take it in your hands, kind of bunch it up together, put it in the front and the sides of the box. I wanted to show a different way instead of packing it full of moss this time, just a different idea. And that way you can also see the burlap if you look through those little slats in the front. I'm going to take this little greenery bush that I got at a craft store and I'm going to snip off several of the little stems together in little groups, and we're going to take those and we're going to put those in our little flower box. I'm not going to glue these in because I thought maybe I would want to change them out for the seasons and I could take those out and add different floral picks. Once you have your greenery sprigs filled in the little box, we're going to take these pink tulips. I picked this bush up at Joann when it was on clearance last year. Dollar Tree does have a lot of different color tulips, so just get the ones that you like the best. Snip off some. Make sure you have some long pieces and some short pieces so we can give it some height and dimension. Tuck those in all the places that you want to. Once you get that all filled up, I'm going to snip off another piece of this little burlap here and make sure that we put it in the front just so it gives it some character. Once I looked at it, I wanted to have a little bit more fullness to the box, so I snipped off another piece of the greenery, tucked it there in the middle, checked it out, and I was happy with it in the end. Okay, here's your finished product. I hope you enjoyed this DIY. It was really fun to make also. You can change out the colors of your yarn and your florals. This would be such a cute idea to make also for Valentine's Day, but I thought it worked well for spring, especially with the spring tulip colors. This will be a great decoration. You could also do something almost like this for Christmas. The possibilities are unlimited, what you can do. Just make it your own unique creation. DIY number 3, house number peach bead ring. For this, you'll need one of the Dollar Tree bead rings. You'll also need florals and ribbon of your choice. I'm going to use 3 of the wood slices from any craft store, also a Sharpie, and some zip ties. Okay, I'm going to put a 3-digit house number on this bead ring. So I'm going to take 3 of these wood slices and position them together so I can put the number on each one. I'm going to take a pencil here and just hand draw out my numbers. I'm going to put 2 on the first one, 6 in the middle, and 9 on the one at the bottom. Taking my black oil-based Sharpie, I'm going to now go over that and make it just a little bit thicker. I'm going to go over it once just singly, and then I'm going to go back in, kind of double it here and fill in the space. Once our numbers are dry, it doesn't take long where it's oil based. We're going to flip that little numerics over. we're going to take the couple pieces of pipe cleaner we had left over from our previous DIY where we made the bow, and we're going to take those and glue those to the top and bottom one, and then set that aside to let that glue dry. Next, we're going to take these 2 bunches of peach tulips. We're not going to use them all, but we are going to use both of the little bushes because we want them to match on each side of the little cluster we're going to make. So we're going to take our fingers, push up the greenery to the base of the tulips, and then snip that off because we want little stems that we can bunch up and make a little bouquet. Once you have those 3 pieces clipped together, we're going to choose the same ones off of the other bush just so the 2 pieces are going to match. And then we're going to take our zip ties. These are little 4-inch zip ties I picked up in a pack from Walmart. And we're going to take those, hold that little 3-piece bouquet together, and take the stems and tie those together tightly. Snip off that little piece at the bottom, and you're ready to put together your second little bouquet. Okay, here I'm just going to take those 2 little bouquets and hold them up to the bead ring to see where my bow is going to need to be and how big of a bow I'm going to make. I'm going to take them and also bend them so they go with the flow of the bead ring. Next, I chose 2 different colored ribbons. I'm going to do a layered bow here. I'm going to tie my bow with a white pipe cleaner because I'm going to leave those tails on so I can use that to tie that to the back of the bead ring so I can attach it. Go ahead and fluff your bow up. Make sure you have your loops and tails where you want them. I don't have anything attached right now to the bead ring, so I'm going to take my hands and see where I want to put that. Once I have it all set up where I need it and the bow is going to fit, I'm going to take a couple more of those zip ties, and we're going to take those and put a couple on here to attach it to the bead ring. We're going to make sure that we have those pulled tight and then snip off those little tails. Just a note, make sure that your zip ties go between the beads and are not wrapped around the bead so the little bouquets will be tied tight. Next, we're going to attach our bow here in the center between our little peach bouquets. We're going to take those little tails from the pipe cleaner. Make sure again that you put the pipe cleaner twist in between beads and not over top of beads so it does not get loose. Once you have that twisted tight, go ahead and snip off the tails and tuck that little piece in between the beads. Go ahead and flip it over now and check it to see if you like how many flowers you have and the position of your bow. I decided I wanted to add a little bit more tulips to mine, so I snipped off a piece off of the bush I had left. And since I had that tied with the zip ties, I had a little bit of room to go ahead and stick that stem up between the other stems. I did the same thing at the top and the bottom just to give it a little bit more fullness. Then took my tails of my bow, put those together on each side, folded them over and snipped them at a diagonal so I could go ahead and just dovetail those for a little bit of extra charm. Next, we're going to take those house numbers that we made at the beginning and we're going to position them where you want them on the bead ring. Flip it over, do the same thing, tying those pipe cleaners in between the beads, twisting them tight until they're attached good, and then just tucking them under. This part again is totally optional. You don't even have to do this. You could just do the flowers and enjoy your bead ring that way. Okay, here's your finished product. I hope you enjoyed this DIY. I loved how it turned out as just a pop of spring colors. You do not have to do the house numbers on this. It's totally optional. You could have got some more wood slices and wrote the word welcome. You could have wrote the word spring. It's just unlimited what you could really do with this. I just chose to do house numbers just to have something a little bit different.
Thanks for crafting along with me today. I hope you enjoyed these beautiful bead wreath ring DIYs. If you did, please like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any upcoming crafty content. Also, leave me a comment down below to say hi and let me know which one of today's DIYs was your favorite. Until next time, happy crafting!
I enjoyed our time together. Thanks for watching. I linked another video here for more crafting inspiration. Be sure to check it out. Have a great day.